good? What's good, YouTube? Kenny Motivates. In this video, I want to talk about money, right? And the topic is gonna be how the rich get richer and how the poor stay poor, right? So before I even begin, I want to first say this: how is money created? Well, the first step is through the Federal Treasury, right? Called the United States Department of the Treasury. And this institution, this body of people, right? They produce bonds and securities, meaning like IOUs. They don't produce money, they produce the bonds that the government runs on, right? This government, America, runs on bonds, right? So they issue these bonds, IOUs, right, to the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is the people who use these bonds and these securities to print money such as the bills and making coins. So then they distribute these bills and coins to the banks, like the big banks, like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, the very big, well-known banks, right? These banks then distribute this money to the people. Before it even reaches the people, right, the society, right, the regular people, it first goes to the rich people, the really wealthy people. Then it goes to the middle class. Then it goes to the poor class, right? So that's how money's created. But how does one take advantage of the money that's created, right? And that can be taken advantage of through debt. So ultimately, there's two different types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. So an example of a bad debt is I'll show you right now. I don't know if you can see it, but that school right there. My school is right there. That's my school, right? My college. That's considered bad debt because it's student loans. Student loans is one of the worst debt you can have as an individual, because you can't even declare bankruptcy on it, right? But on the other hand, student loan is the biggest asset to the government, right? It's more than a $1.6 trillion asset to the government. Why does it look like that? Right? So, like I said, student debt is a $1.6 trillion, more than $1.6 trillion asset to the government. So all these people in the world, right, in America at least, owe more than $1.6 trillion total, right? So that's one of the worst debts you can have. That's the biggest asset to the government, student loan debt, right? The second one is credit card debt, meaning like the money you borrow, right? When you use your credit card from the bank, right? They lend you that money. Let's say you buy a burger, right? From doesn't even matter where, but let's say you buy a burger, right? And you buy it on your credit card. You're using the bank's money to purchase that burger. You're not using your money until you pay it off. So like that's credit card debt. Or you're buying a purse or a suit or a bag or anything, right? And then the second one is the third one is your car, right? Your auto loan. And the fourth one is your mortgage. So your mortgage, your house is not an asset at all, right? Because you're paying money on it consistently every single month to keep up with the lights and the water and the electricity and the oil, the gas and all that. Your personal home is not an asset. A lot of people like to say that your home is an asset. It's not. But on the flip side, there's good debt. And that good debt, right? Good debt, I'm gonna read it right now, has the potential to increase your net worth or enhance your life in an important way. So how do you use debt to increase your net worth? I'm gonna gonna really break it down for you right now. So this is how the rich get richer, right? They understand that debt is amazing. It's an amazing system because you can't get taxed on debt. So, for an example, G-Wagon, for example, right? If I'm gonna buy a property and I don't have enough money to purchase that property, let's say I get a loan for $50 million from a bank, Bank of America, right? If I get that loan for $50 million, I do not get taxed on that $50 million. Because, like I said, that's how the Treasury makes money. That's how the Treasury make their assets, by bonds, by loans, by not printing money, but by giving a piece of paper stating that, okay, I'm gonna give you this amount of money, but they're not actually giving you that physical money. They're giving you an ownership, right? The ability to use that, right? So you don't get taxed at all on a loan. If I were to get $50 million, if I were to make $50 million in 1 year, almost half that money would go right to the IRS, the government. But if I get a loan for $50 million from a bank, I do not get taxed on that whatsoever. So that's why the rich get richer, because they're leveraging debt to increase their net worth, right? So, for example, if I'm buying a property and I'm putting a down payment for like what? For $20 million, right? And the property is $100 million. No, let's say it's $75 million, right? Or $70 million, right? $70 million. I would need to get that loan for $50 million from the bank, and I would not get taxed on it at all. So I'm putting $20 million to control a $70 million property. And that's only assuming if the people living in that apartment building, right, that property, is paying down their rents, their bills every single month. So they're literally paying that mortgage down, that property, right, as well as the debt that I use to incur that asset. But poor people and the middle class people don't do that. They work for money, then getting taxed on that money, right? So most of their money goes right to the IRS. But rich people understand that if you were to leverage debt to your benefit, you can't get taxed on it at all. That's why, because when the Boston Tea Party, when they tax tea, they try to tax the rich people because they had all of this money. They wanted to like distribute it down to the middle class and poor class. But as time went on, they couldn't tax them because rich people don't have jobs. They actually own assets that are incentivized by the government. So that tax actually hurt the middle class and the poor people more than it did the rich. Actually helped the rich more, because it allows them to take more money as a loan and purchase more property, not getting taxed on that property whatsoever, right? So don't listen to the people that are constantly telling you don't go into debt, pay down your debt. I mean, if it's bad debt, like I mentioned earlier, that's what you want to pay off. But when it's good debt, such as real estate, you can't buy property without debt. You need to use other people's money to make you rich. Like, for example, Robert Kiyosaki, right? This guy right here. In a video I just watched, he said he's $600 million in debt. That's amazing. That's amazing. It might not sound amazing to you because that's like, oh, like $600 million in debt, that's like the worst thing I can... Nah, that's not. He's using that $600 million from a bank, as a loan, to control a big portion of real estate, right? And that's how the rich get richer. They leverage other people's money to make them rich. So I hope you guys really learned something from this. Share this video with everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.